Hi and welcome along to the computer science talk for this evening. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. If you have any questions at all, then please put them into the Q&A and I will have a look at those at the end of the presentation and answer any questions. Hopefully I should be able to answer some of them as you go. So as you may have been in some of my lessons, you may have seen some of this PowerPoint already, so I do apologise. If you haven't seen it, then hopefully it gives you an insight into a bit more about the course and why it's really important that we should be sort of covering computer science at GCSE. So computer science generally within the sort of working industry is quite a male-dominated field still. So there are lots of female personalities out there that are trying to advocate more girls into coding. So these are just a few of those. So we've got some supermodels. I know not your normal go-to image of somebody that would study and work within computer science, but they are trying to promote and obviously get more girls into doing coding. We have them kind of working alongside their other passion. So it doesn't have to be that you are one or the other. So obviously they have a passion within the fashion industry. So we have lots of them working and building apps and websites that complement that side of it. So computer science is such a diverse field and it really needs a lot more representation across the field of people with different opinions and different outlooks on life, really getting into that field and kind of shaping the future. And they are obviously just a few of the people that are trying to help do that. Other people that are obviously trying to help show how they are actually shaping the world and shaping how technology is used are some of the people coming up on the next few slides. So hopefully it's not being too disjointed with the sort of time delay, but I do apologise if it's a little bit out of sync. So here we have some women that they are under the age of 35 and they are on the top 100 entrepreneur list in computer science. So what they have done is they have found an interest that they have and a gap in the market for certain things, and they are trying to obviously help shape how technology is used to kind of plug that gap. So we've got people here that are looking at how to kind of sift through data in a faster way so that scientists can focus more on the actual science than trying to interpret the data. So they've built a program that helps to kind of deal with that side of it, so to leave the scientists doing what they should be doing. Somebody else has obviously seen a gap in the market in farming. So again, computer science nowadays is not just about sitting in front of a computer and doing coding and just getting it back on the screen. A lot more of it is more engaging, it's more helping real world scenarios. So Anastasia, you can see here, she is helping farmers to be able to focus on where they actually need to. So she's using sensing material to kind of help monitor where their crops are growing. And she is kind of helping to kind of help farmers look at where maybe soil is more fertile for a particular period of time so they can focus more of their efforts there, or if a crop isn't doing particularly well, then obviously they can look more into that more quickly. The next couple here, we've got again a lady that kind of felt that actually the cosmetic industry had quite a bias towards light skin. She is using artificial intelligence and robotics to try and correct that. So again, it can be quite physical computer science. It doesn't again just have to be kind of on screen. You can obviously involve artificial intelligence, robotics, physical computing. So previously in lessons, you know that we've looked at using things like the makey, where we kind of actually built in Shakespeare festival work into kind of little models. So again, it's the field now for computer science is so varied that whatever interest you have, we can find something that computer science would fit with. Again, somebody has obviously seen that medicine is again needing some more AI based programs to help obviously find things within human bodies faster than humans can. So obviously AI is there to kind of learn. So the more we program into AI, the more it is able to learn faster and more easily. It can then interpret those results and then obviously give us some feedback. So some of the common misconceptions that keep women and those that are in kind of minority groups from kind of considering computer science jobs. There are kind of 6 things that I'm going to have a look at here. The first thing is that the misconception is that it's quite math based. There is some math in there. Yes, I'm not going to deny that, but it is not advanced maths. So if you feel as though maths is not one of your strong points, it's not an issue. The main focus to do with computer science is on your logic thinking skills. And if we can logically think through a problem, whether it's math based or other based, then again, that is what we're looking for. The next thing is that the work environment can be quite hostile to women. Actually, I have found previously with some girls that have done this and gone on to work in the computer science industry that they have actually found that it made them stand out. So when they were applying for jobs, one of the things that, you know, companies are looking for is getting more women and those in minority groups into computer science to try and obviously give the other viewpoints than obviously men may bring to the party. So it does actually stand you out from the crowd. It does mean that people will more likely be to remember you compared to somebody else that may be talking. I do apologise if the slides are not quite keeping up. I'm trying to kind of keep going with that. The third thing is that tech careers are antisocial. They're not actually as antisocial as we imagine. We kind of have this stereotype in our mind that somebody that works in computer science is working from home, alone, in a room, no contact with the outside world, whereas now it's very much more collaborative. So it's a lot of teamwork going on. Programmers will usually work as part of a team. They will be given a part of a problem that they need to then obviously code, and then obviously they would come back with the rest of their team and discuss how that's going to fit in with everybody else's working. So it is quite team based. So if you quite like working within teams, then we do quite a lot of that within our programming lessons as well. So again, there's a lot of team building skills that are being built into computer science. Another thing is that computer science isn't feminine. So again, the stereotype is kind of male, kind of sat there, not really engaging with the outside world. I apologise for any dads out there that work in IT. I'm just going with the stereotype. So it is a lot better these days in terms of being able to kind of take what we love in terms of our hobbies and build that into what we do with computer science. Just because you are a computer scientist doesn't mean that you can't then still enjoy all of your other hobbies. So the multitude of options is open to you. And we'll have a look in a moment at some of the kind of degree options that are available, and you'll see that a lot of them nowadays aren't just computer science based. Else is that the sort of misconception is that women in STEM careers don't have time for relationships or family. Again, that is kind of something that is a bit of a misconception, because people have this idea that if you are a computer scientist, you are just going to be programming and dealing with computers all the time, and therefore have to sort of forego everything else outside of that. That's not the case. And obviously, with work-life balance as it is now, people are being able to kind of build in more time from working from home. And obviously, with the pandemic, as it has been recently, we've seen that a lot more people are able to work from home and are able to kind of build their life around their work rather than it being the other way around. The final one is that studying computer science limits your career options. So there is a lot of career options to do with computer science. There's lots of things that you can get into. There's lots of skills that you develop during computer science, GCSE and A-level, if you were to go on to that companies are looking for. So the logic thinking skills, the problem solving skills, the team building skills, they are transferable skills across any career option that you go into. So just because you study computer science at GCSE or A-level doesn't then mean that that's what you're pigeonholed to go into. So previously, girls that have been studying computer science with me at A-level have gone on to do lots of different things. The 2 girls I had last year, one of them's gone on to do engineering, the other one has gone on to do physics. So again, it doesn't limit you into doing computer science. Previously to that, I've had people that have gone on to do zoology, they've gone on to do music, and I've had one that's gone on to do computer science at university. So again, it doesn't limit you to just then going down that avenue, but it does sort of open your eyes into lots of different opportunities. So as you'll see on the sort of next few slides, this is what computer science is all about. So it's about making a difference in the world. It's about creating new things, whether that be a program or a piece of technology, a piece of hardware, piece of physical technology that is going to help people. It's being able to think logically, produce solutions. So one of the things that I kind of try and get people to step away from when thinking about computer science is that it is all just programming. That is only one element of it. So computer science is more about the problem solving skills. We just happen to use programming to then produce a solution to that problem, but it's not the kind of be all and end all of what we look at. We're looking more at the kind of problem solving aspect of it. So there is quite a shortage of programmers in the field, and there is quite a shortage within other aspects of sort of the industry as well. So there is a lot of flexibility in terms of what jobs you can get into, what pathways you can go down, what extra subjects you could team it with. So that the job possibilities are endless with this particular subject, and the skills that you learn, as I said, are transferable across to other subjects. So this here is just a very small flavour of the sorts of things that you could do with computer science. So yes, there are the straight computer science degrees if that was what you wanted to do. However, if you wanted to team it with another subject, I've got a girl currently who's doing A-level who is thinking about teaming computer science with either economics or psychology that she's doing. So it really does mean that you can kind of expand your horizons. If you were to team it with a language, again, that steps you up even further in terms of what companies are looking for. It means that you are then able to kind of travel the world a little bit more. You would obviously have a year out in another country, combining your computer science knowledge, working for a company abroad. So there are lots of different opportunities for you these days to give it that kind of extra dimension to it. So looking more specifically at the course now. So it's broken into 2 papers, so there's no coursework. So if you don't like doing coursework particularly, then this could be something that's quite a good thing for you. Both papers are 50%, so they're both 75 marks and they're both an hour and 45 minutes. And the way that the things are broken down, so paper 1 is short answer and structured questions, looking at these different topics. Now, some of this we have already covered at Key Stage 3, so it won't be like learning new topic material at GCSE. We will be kind of going back over data representation, so your binary, hexadecimal, logic gates comes into that as well. Hardware and software, again, we will kind of look at how actually hardware is used, how the different components actually make up a computer. Why is it important to learn about that? Well, obviously, you're using technology now every day, pretty much most of the day. It's important that we know how it actually works so that obviously we've got a better understanding of it. New topics that have been introduced, we've got things like cybersecurity. So again, that looks at new things like Bitcoining. That is obviously quite a hot topic at the moment in terms of currency and how that is actually going to play out in the future. We also look at things like robotics and AI. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, then we will be having a look at that. May even have chance during some of the lessons to be able to program the robot that we have within the lesson. Paper 2 looks more at kind of the problem solving side. So looking at a problem, breaking it down into smaller parts. How do we then kind of solve that? And it's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So when you're given a jigsaw puzzle, you don't kind of try and tackle it all at once. You break it into smaller parts to then be able to attempt that jigsaw puzzle. And problem solving and programming is just like that. It's about taking the bigger picture, breaking it into smaller tasks, solving that task, and then putting it all back in together into one finished article. We also look at databases. So you'll learn about SQL, which is another programming language to do with databases. We obviously look at our Boolean logic, which is what I said before is our logic gates, which we will be looking at in year 9. So some of the topics that we've been doing this year very much lead you into the GCSE. So obviously you're coming with a bit of a understanding already. We'll just be then recapping it and sort of bringing a little bit more depth to it. Now, paper 2 also has a scenario-based question. So a little bit more information on that. So the scenario-based question is 15 of the 75 marks. It will be an unseen one, so we won't get a chance to be able to see it before the exam. However, we will do lots of practice on ones before the exam. So we'll be able to kind of practice how to kind of break it down, how to answer what types of questions that could come up about it. So again, you will go into paper 2 with a bit more of an understanding of how to answer that question. And if we're able to kind of answer that and give it a good go at 15 marks, you're well on your way to getting a good kind of understanding of a good grade with that particular paper. So we'll do lots of practice ones in the lessons together. So it's not going to be a case of you're there on your own trying to tackle programming. We work very much collaboratively on the programming together in pairs, in groups, because that's how it would be in the real world. So I don't just leave you to kind of get on with it. We very much take it back to basics with the programming, go through it all again, recap it several times together, practice lots of tasks together, individually, homework, so you'll get lots and lots of practice at this type of question. Okay, so there'll be no issue particularly with that one. So some of the things that you'll learn to develop, primarily your computational thinking skills, and that is something that is transferable across to any A-level that you do, any GCSE that you do, any degree choice that you go onto, and any career choice that you go into. So we'll look at the main principles of how to problem solve. Yes, we will look at programming, but as I've said, don't panic too much if you've kind of felt this year that the programming we've done has been quite quick. We will go back over that again and take it a little bit more slowly. We will look at the internet and look at it as a way of how we communicate and obviously the risks that are associated with that. Yes, obviously the internet is a good thing, but there are some risks. Cybersecurity is quite a big issue at the moment. So obviously we look at how that is actually emerging. We also look at obviously new technology that is being introduced. Computer science is a subject that never stays the same, which is a good thing because obviously you're always expanding your understanding of it, your understanding of how things work within the world. So what do I expect of you within the lessons and obviously for homework? Perseverance and resilience is one of the key things I would say you need to do computer science. Programming is something that generally does not work first time, as we have seen from when we've been doing a bit of programming in year 9 last term. But the joy that you get from when a program finally works, believe me, is a feeling that is one of the best things to get. And some of my A-level girls at the moment that are doing it, that is what they find when they finally get a program to work. They say, you know, I can't believe I finally got it to work. It's the best thing in the world. That's their words, not mine. So it does obviously mean that you have a willingness to learn problem solving. If you don't find problem solving particularly easy at the moment, that again doesn't put you off from doing computer science. We develop those skills as we go through. Yes, we have fun in the lessons. Yes, we try and make it engaging. Yes, some of the topic material may be hard going, but we will try and do it in an engaging way that obviously means that the information sticks that little bit more. Okay, homework assignments, obviously same goes for any other subject, that things are being done on time and they're being completed to a high standard. One of the key things I would say with programming is it's like learning a new foreign language. The more practice you do, the easier it becomes, and then the less worried we are when we encounter problems. Okay. This just gives you an idea of what some of the students have said before that have taken GCSE and then gone on to do A-level. So they'll Some of them have said you'll be surprised how many university courses have coding sections. So some of the girls already, or some of the people in my class already, have heard about how some of my students before have gone on to do archaeology degrees, something you wouldn't associate with computer science at all. However, they found themselves having to create an app. They had done GCSE computer science and they said it gave them such confidence to be able to tackle the situation within their degree course compared to other people on their course that hadn't covered computer science at all. So it is amazing nowadays how many computing elements are in other degrees that you wouldn't expect. Problem solving and coding was really fun, helped with my other GCSEs. So problem solving in English can be down from being given a essay title and having to kind of come up with how you're going to tackle that. Problem solving is all part of every subject. The lack of women in computer science can seem daunting and unwelcoming. However, it's really important that we don't miss out on how fun and engaging coding can actually be. It is a great foundation for lots of other subjects, and the range of topics that we now cover is getting broader every time the specification comes around. So you've got the added benefit that we've now got looking at AI, robotics, looking at cybersecurity. These are things that were not there before. They're always changing. So it's really interesting to see how things actually are progressing within computer science. A little quote here. So you may have seen it on my wall outside the room. Falling in love with code means falling in love with problem solving and being a part of a forever ongoing conversation. And I think that's really important to remember. Programming and problem solving is an ongoing conversation. It is something that will constantly evolve. And if you can get to that element of actually engaging with coding and it being part of you and it being part of something that you enjoy, it does give you something that will progress and evolve forever. So programming and coding have been around for lots of years before now, and they will be around for lots and lots of years after we finished GCSE. So it is really important that you do have a love for it, and it can be fun. Promise you. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. So computer science, I will say, is challenging. However, it is really worthwhile facing that challenge head on and actually getting stuck in. So once you get those programs working, that buzz that you get from that is second to nothing else. So it is really important that you actually engage with it. So I've come to the end of my little speech. I'm going to have a look and see if anybody has got any questions. One thing I would say is that the programming language we will use at GCSE will be Python. So obviously we've done a term of it already, very briefly. So we will look at that in a lot more depth. OK, so I'm going to have a look back at the question and answer. If anybody has any questions, then I will have a look at those. So if anybody has any questions, put them in the chat into the Q&A and I'll have a look at those. If not, then I hope the rest of your sessions tonight go really well, and I look forward to answering any other questions you might have. So if you go away from tonight and you have any other questions and you think, oh, I should have asked that, please just come and drop me an email or pop into the room and I will happily answer any questions that you do have. OK. If nobody has any questions, I will let you get on to your next session and give you 5 minutes just to kind of get ready for that one. So thank you very much for coming along tonight. I hope it's given you a bit of an insight into what GCSE would entail, and I look forward to seeing some of you soon.